Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the UK. We are currently sitting in the town of London, getting ready to head out through Birmingham and Manchester, and ending up in Liverpool. Today we've got a series of best ofs, meaning best sport, best author, best food, those types of things. Birmingham and Manchester have their own best ofs, but Liverpool has truly one of the best ofs of anything of all time. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to stick around to find out. But you're going to all agree with me when we get there to the end. Trust me. Right, so as we are moving out, as I said, we have finally made it to the UK. Whoa, geez, Louise. So yeah, right there. As we're in since we're in the UK, this is going to be it's going to be a bit of a comedy. On the one hand, I'm pretty happy that I'm going to be able to pronounce most of the things here correctly. Lots of stuff in the United States is basically named after stuff in England, just with the word "new" stuck on the front. But I should be able to pronounce the town names a little bit better here. On the other hand, they all drive on the left. Everything here is backwards, and I expect that that's going to get me multiple times throughout these drives. So we're going to have a good old laugh along the way to see how that all goes. So, being in the UK, we are rapidly coming to the end of the base game Euro Truck Simulator 2 Cities. As I'd said, I originally envisioned this career as kind of a progression through history for SCS, starting with the base game, going through all that content, and then moving through each of the individual DLCs. So, as time has gone on, I've wondered if I still want to stick with doing that or if I want to move on a little bit. So I'm going to see what you guys think a little bit. I've got two ideas in mind. Once we finish this up, and I do expect that this is going to finish up maybe one more episode, two tops, but possibly just one. The first idea is to continue just what I'm doing, and after the base game, Going East was what was released, and so we would be moving into all those cities. The second idea was something that I think might be a little more popular, because I've heard a lot of people ask about it and talk about it here and there, is opening things up and getting pro mods and maybe a few other supporting map packs installed as well, and exploring all the pro mods landscape. It certainly opens up the options way more. The map is huge. If I did it, it would probably be like it would be pro mods. It would be the Rus map, which is some good chunk of Russia. Pro mods, Middle Eastern and Great Steppes, as well as a couple others that are fairly common. None of the ones that are buggy, or I would want to stick with stuff that's at least high level content. I don't think I want to waste my time with mod maps that aren't, bringing anything really good to the table. So if I did that, I would potentially just move over to a new location and maybe just like take out a $400,000 loan and buy a couple quick trucks and get the economy going. Just kind of like start the career over again in a different, more interesting place. I'm not sure about all that, because I kind of want to keep this profile sticking around. I don't want to add pro mods to this profile, because if I ever want to do things involving achievements or the World of Trucks events and things like that they do when new DLC comes out, you can't really do that when you have mods installed. It just doesn't let you do any of the World of Truck stuff. So I need to keep something around to be able to do that kind of stuff in the future. So, but it's honestly, as we've been kind of dragging this out and doing, taking the long way around. When you start up a new career in ETS2, you can immediately take out, run your couple quick jobs, take out a 400K loan, buy a garage, buy some cheap trucks and hire some drivers and get yourself a nice starting vehicle. Nothing too fancy. And I can do all that offline before I even start. So that's my other idea. I'm kind of curious what you guys think about it. If you think that would be more interesting. I do think I get a lot of people talking about Pro Mod, so I think people might like to watch it a little more. There's a lot of interesting places we can do. We can do some things like really long drives, multi-episode treks across the whole continent, things like that. So that might be kind of fun. You guys let me know what you think about that, because I'll be considering it over the next week or two. I'll be making a decision on that. In the meantime, Birmingham is getting a little, we're closing in on them in a little bit, so we will catch up when we get there. When we get to Birmingham, we are going to learn about the best author of all time who lived there. Find out who that is in a couple of minutes. See you soon. And welcome to Birmingham. So, what do you guys think about the time lapses that I've been doing? I've been doing those in the last few episodes or so, and they're pretty fun to put in there. I think they're kind of interesting. I like kind of picking out the music to go in the background and all that. And but I'm kind of curious what y'all think about them. If you think I should keep doing them, should I not bother? Do you not like them? Do you like them? I've had people tell me that they enjoy watching just the driving and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not the same as just driving regular speed and all that. But I wanted to introduce a little bit of just driving stuff, and it's kind of fun to edit. So tell me what you guys think about that. So here in Birmingham, I'd said that one of the, if not the greatest author is didn't grow up here, but lived in Birmingham, and that would be J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of, obviously, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and The Silmarillion and all that stuff. So he actually lived here a good long while. 9 different houses throughout Birmingham that he lived. So obviously enjoyed it quite a bit. And the Birmingham area, the people and the places around here actually served as big inspiration for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings specifically. Hold on, that's a I think we have a no, we have a recruitment agency coming up. Never mind, it's in a little bit. Yeah, so inspiration for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Some of the specific places around here would be there's a place called Sarehole Mill, and that was a early inspiration for the Shire. I put a picture of it up there, and you should be able to easily see why. Also, Moseley Bog. Moseley is a kind of like a borough of Birmingham, and there's a bog there, and that bog was the inspiration for the Old Forest. The Old Forest was when Frodo and all them left the Shire, and they were on their way to Bree. They went through the Old Forest, and they met Tom Bombadil there. So what was that? Man trucks? Yeah. So the Moseley Bog was the inspiration for that location. So very creepy and all that. And again, I'll put some pictures up for so you can kind of see what he was thinking of when he wrote all that. So that all was pretty cool. I love J.R.R. Tolkien. I grew up reading the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and I love the movies when they came out. I actually am old enough to remember the old animated movies that was done by, oh boy, and I can't remember his name. They were animated, kind of like they used rotoscoping, which is like it's a animation technique where you take photographs and you trace over them, so it has like this kind of quasi-real look. It's a little weird. I'll put an example of it up on the screen so you see what I'm talking about. And I'll also put the back sheet. I don't know. I can't remember the guy's name. I'll put it up there so you know who it is. But I loved those movies. They did. I loved the new, of course, the Peter Jackson movies. The Hobbit movies weren't quite as good, but I mean, they were a spectacle. I enjoyed them somewhat. I mean, they looked great. Some of the stuff from the book was really interesting. I don't know about all the extra stuff. I'm not going to get into a big thing about it. A lot of people hate them. I don't think it's quite as bad as a lot of people say, but there is a lot of goofy stuff in there. On the other hand, The Hobbit was a children's book, so the idea that there would be some goofy stuff in there, maybe that's not so odd. But I don't think anyone can argue that the Lord of the Rings movies would be, a lot of people consider them the modern day, right up there with the original Star Wars trilogy as some of the greatest trilogy ever made. And I think I would agree with that. So yeah, I grew up reading those. They got me at an early age interested in fantasy and science fiction. Yeah, I've loved that stuff all my life since then. So it's been a pretty big influence. So as we head out of Birmingham and towards Manchester, let's do a little recap and a little update on how the channel's doing and what's going on with the channel. We got some new things that have been showing up. If people are subscribed and they're following along with my content, you will have noticed I put some new stuff out at the end of last week. And that would be like little mini news videos. Basically, they're like 2 minutes long, maybe 3 tops, talking about various things that SCS is announcing for future content. Stuff around the 1.51 update, which is going to be coming out maybe end of the summer. That's the rumor, although nothing's really set in stone yet. Updates to, what was that, loan installment? Oh, great. Updates on the DLCs that are coming out for Euro and American Truck Simulator, as well as other just regular updates, things that they're doing, new trucks, new whatever. So I kind of liked that idea. It's something I'd thought about. I probably talked about it in the past, is doing some kind of news thing. They were fun. I've made a couple now. One of them did really, really well, so I was pretty happy with that. Another one, not so well. I'm kind of batting around the idea of whether I want to do several like short episodes throughout the week as SCS announces things, or if I would kind of want to compile all the information that's come out in the last week and do like one episode, putting everything together. There's kind of pluses and minuses for both of those. What's kind of cool about doing them as things happen is those videos are actually really easy for me to produce. Like I can script it, film it, edit it, and put it out in about an hour. I mean, it's kind of a quick, easy, not that I'm making any money, but easy money. It's something that I can put out there. It does have value. There's other channels that do the same sort of thing. They tend to do music and animated text to talk about that. Oh, I just got nailed. I talk, I narrate, I write my own summaries and stuff like that. So, and it's fun. So easy, fun, and kind of get some good content out there, I think. On the other hand, I don't know. Like I said, they're kind of, one did really well, one didn't do really well. So I wonder how many, I understand a lot about how YouTube works with the algorithm and things like that, but I do notice, like, when you have a smaller channel, I don't know how much I can back this up beyond anecdotal, is that there seems to be a limit to how much YouTube will promote you. So if you're like kind of a newish channel and you put out a ton of content, like something every day or whatever, I have noticed that YouTube will just not serve impressions to everything. They will kind of pick and choose, and these are things that are all kind of similar, that people that are interested in one would be interested in the other. So it's not, you can't really explain it by the topic. So I don't want to get myself in a situation where I'm just putting too much stuff out there and YouTube is just kind of hamstringing all the videos because it just doesn't, I'm too new. I'm not popular enough, and so it's just not going to promote that much content. If that's true, then it's probably better to just take all that stuff and smush it together into one episode at the end of the week. I don't know which is easier for people to watch. If it's easier to just watch a 2-minute, 3-minute thing once a day or a few times a week, or something more like 10 minutes long once a week. I don't know. So I'm right now experimenting. I've put out like 3 of them now, and I'm kind of gauging how they do. Like I said, the first one did awesome. The second one did horribly. The third one just came out, so I don't know. And based on the evidence I see from there, I'm going to make a decision on which way I go with it. You guys let me know what you think. If you think one idea is better than another, what you guys think does drive a lot of what I do. So we'll see how that goes. The other update is I do have my next episode of Farming Simulator 22 completed. It's done editing. That's going to be coming out this Thursday. Today's Monday. Yep. So this is out on Monday. So this Thursday, my second chicken farm episode of Farming Sim will come out. I was hoping to do it last week, but I got sidetracked and I ended up sort of having fun doing those news things and fiddling around with that, so I never got it finished. But it's all ready to go. So anyone who's actually looking forward to that, you'll be seeing it pretty soon. Other than that, that's the big news for the channel. Not much else going on other than just steady stuff. We are going to be coming up on Manchester pretty soon, and in Manchester is where the best invented sport of all time. Oh boy, what is that? The best invented sport of all times was invented, and that might sound a little odd, but you'll understand it when I talk about it. So stick around, and we will see what I am talking about shortly. Welcome to Manchester. All right, so the best made-up sport of all time. Manchester is where J.K. Rowling invented the game of Quidditch from the Harry Potter series. I'm expecting everybody knows what that is. I actually would really agree with that statement. You get a lot of made up sports and games in book series, and especially in fantasy and video games and things like that. But it was actually a pretty well thought out set of rules. And I got to turn here. This guy's in my way. Get out of my way. Yeah, it's a really good set of rules. It took into consideration the abilities of everybody. It was very, very well done. And the movies depicted it extremely well. So I put that on the list of best of made-up sports. Now, I might cause a bit of a riot in this one as well, because I know you guys over there take your football, aka soccer, very, very seriously. But Manchester is also home to one of, if not the greatest football teams of all time, Manchester United. I am not really a soccer fan. I don't watch it. I know it. I know the rules. I played it when I was a kid and all that kind of stuff. I got to zip over here to this Scania dealer. But I don't really follow soccer. Soccer's not really huge in the United States. So let's just go around this way. But as little as I know about world soccer and as little as I actually watch it, I even know who Manchester United is. So they are huge. Everybody knows who they are. So they would maybe make the list. I don't know. Who's Manchester United's biggest rival? I know they have a rival, but I just don't know who it is. You guys let me know, and then you guys tell me who you think the best football team is in the world. All right, let's get around this corner. We got to go snag ourselves another recruitment agency. We're picking up quite a few question marks here along the way, which is pretty nice. So yeah, there's a couple other I was reading of. They were saying Manchester's a big music town, and so they were saying, I got a kick out of this because I didn't agree with this one. They were like, Manchester's the home of many of the most popular bands of all time, and the bands they listed were Oasis and the Smiths. Now, Oasis, I definitely don't agree with. I mean, I remember them when they, when I was younger. I remember the Wonderwall, and they were famous for, let's just say, they thought rather highly of themselves. But I kind of considered them sort of whiny and pretentious. Didn't really agree. I don't think I would put them on any kind of best of list. They certainly didn't put out enough recognizable music that they stood the test of time. I mean, I'm not sure how much even people have heard of them today. The Smiths, I really don't know much about them or anything. I guess I did a little look up, and they're kind of like a pop punk band. I guess maybe like Blink-182 or something like that. So I'm guessing that really wouldn't be considered a best of band either, but I can't say authoritatively about them because I don't know a single song that they've ever done. So I don't know. But speaking of music, as we will be approaching Liverpool shortly, Liverpool is the home of the best band of all time, bar none. And I'm going to hope that you all know who I'm talking about, but maybe not. We'll see. And maybe we can get into an argument about how true that is later on. But when we get into Liverpool in the next few minutes, I will reveal who that best band is. See you soon. And we are coming into Liverpool, which is, of course, as I said, many of you might have guessed, the home of the greatest band of all time, the Fab Four, the Beatles. I was going to come up with a little joke and maybe say something like the Partridge Family or whatever, but no, the Beatles. I do consider them, and I'm not alone in this, I do consider them the best band of all time, and that is to date. I have yet to, I like music. There's a lot of bands I do like and everything, but I have yet to encounter anybody else that even comes close. Even though the Beatles were a bit before my time, I was born in '72, so it they were they were basically broken up by the time I was even born, and or darn close to it. And but I had an older brother and an older sister, and they were very much of that time, and they loved them. They had all their albums. They were listening to them constantly. So I was sort of pretty much exposed to the Beatles from a very young age, and I would listen to them all the time with my brothers and sisters. And so I sort of would effectively, like, I think I have most of their songs memorized, in the sense that if it comes up, I can kind of sing along. I probably couldn't write the words out, but I could sing along to pretty much everything they've ever done. And I know about them. I've watched documentaries and things like that. And so even as I grew older, I began to appreciate them more, even beyond just the fact that that's what I listened to when I was growing up. They were an extremely talented and extremely influential band. They were pioneers in multiple decades of music. They went from being like a kind of a pop band in the 50s to the psychedelic 60s and drug influenced music and all that, and the war protests and all there. They were pioneers in multiple genres, you might say, even though they all fall under rock. They invented the music video. I think it was Strawberry Fields was the very first music video. I might have that wrong. Check me on that one. They invented the concept album with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That was considered like the first produced concept album. They came up with, this was always a great one. I loved this. They came up with like this great marketing scheme to sell albums, even though they didn't really need it. But they had sort of propagated this idea that Paul McCartney died at a certain point, and that he was replaced by a lookalike named Billy Shears. And if you listen to a lot of a lot of the Beatles' music, you'll see all kinds of little hints that Paul is actually dead inside these inside the songs. And there were people that took this seriously; they believed it. I always just thought it was interesting from a marketing and a conspiracy standpoint. There was a lot of pretty cool stuff. Some of it was intentional. I think there was some stuff that people dug up that was just confirmation bias, people looking for something that wasn't actually there. But that whole thing was also really good. So if I had to, it's hard for me to like pick a favorite Beatles song. I love them all. I suppose I did like their. I think I like their later stuff a little bit more than their more pop stuff from the 50s. I think I would probably pick something like, I don't know, I liked Helter Skelter, Across the Universe, and Tomorrow Never Knows were several of my favorite songs. But honestly, they were all fantastic. If there's any other Beatles fans in there, go ahead and drop a comment and tell me who you think, or what you think the greatest song was. You can also tell me if you were a John fan or a Paul fan. People usually fall into one or the others. I love them both, but I think I was more of a John fan, as you could tell from my song selections, than a Paul fan. So you tell me what you all think about that. And if you disagree that the Beatles were the best band of all time, I might tell you to get out right now. You don't belong here. I'm just kidding. You better give me a good reason, though, because they were amazing. Let's go ahead and do our parking, and then we're going to wrap it up right after this. Let's see how we do today. All right, not too bad. A little bit of back and forth there, but there's been worse, much worse. So we went ahead and earned ourselves what we got: 8,400 euros, 700 XP. We are on our way to level 14. All right, I thought that was a pretty good episode. I liked all that best of stuff. That was actually pretty fun to. Do. I hadn't planned it that way to beginning. As in the beginning, I just was going to talk about the Beatles. but I kept looking up the towns and found all these great little best of things. So I thought that was pretty good. I would ask, though, if you guys agree, if you had a good time, please leave a comment. Click that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. All those things help out the channel, help me to grow, keeps me motivated, and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, until next time, this is Ken with Covenant Gaming saying, see you later.